We're embarking on an oyster safari with the vessel Rebekka of Fanø. The purpose is to collect oysters, and we're talking about Pacific oysters. Originally they were brought to the Wadden Sea in order to be farmed, and it was believed that they would not be able to breed in the cold waters at our latitude. But life has found a way, and the oysters have spread all along the Wadden Sea. It is late September and a beautiful morning as we leave Nordby on Fanø. Everything has been timed in order for us to pass south between the island and the mainland at high tide. If it isn't high tide, the ship will simply not be able to float as we pass south. And right here we are actually passing the tidal shifting point at Elbow Bay. But we still have some way to go in order to reach our intended position off Sønderho. Approaching this position, you'll appreciate the view of the windmill and the recently re-erected navigational point of Sønderho. The depth is carefully sounded as it is important to anchor at the right position. As you'll appreciate from the map, we are some way up on a mudflat. Securely anchored, we will await the falling tide, when the ship will be standing on the drained seabed, allowing us to walk out onto the mudflats in order to collect the oysters. As soon as the water is ankle deep, we can commence our business. If we had gone further onto the mudflat, we might have been able to leave the vessel earlier, but then it would have taken longer time before we would have been afloat again at rising tide, and we might have missed the high tide passage point going back. And this is how the oysters are simply collected, picked up from the seabed. The vessel Rebekka of Fanø was actually built on Fanø in 1921, and she is an original Wadden Sea vessel, an evert, actually a barge, which is built in order to stand on the dry seabed at low tide, as we see here. Indeed, this was how these vessels were operated. At high tide you'd bring them close to shore, and then you could do cargo operation during low tide and leave again at high tide, as seen on this painting from Fanø Art Museum, providing efficient transport back in the days before we had railroads, or for that matter any kind of efficient road transport, and this without the need for any designated ports. And now the time has come to sample our rich harvest, and you're welcome. In this manner, the tide and the Wadden Sea provides the opportunity for flexible transport, but it also dictates the conditions, and soon enough the tide is rushing back, and we will have to adhere to its conditions, and will ourselves be rushing back north in order to reach the high tide passage point in time for safe passage.